Hello and welcome to Stocks Advisors channel. Here we are looking for interesting buy opportunities for US-based stocks. Today we will talk about General Motors Company traded at New York Stock Exchange, ticker name GM. Well, General Motors is actually a company that, although it was kind of in generally declining, if you look this long red line being moving average 200, starting from May started a very nice recovery sequence, and the questions were of course still how much it will continue, till how long we can expect this. But now we see that actually stock is going to acceleration mode, although maybe with some ups and downs of course, but overall acceleration mode is detected here. And the reason for that is that General Motors just informed that they are going to engage into production of electrical trucks. Actually, it's kind of taking a challenge with Tesla, and they are about to invest up to $2 billion for this initiative. Well, this, of course, news was very interesting, and a lot of traders took it as a very nice opportunity. They saw that this will open later for GM. New markets, new profits. Therefore, we see the trading ended today with this very nice candle. But there are also buts. So the question is, okay, what's the next? What's the future for the stock, technically speaking? Of course, we're not going to speak long term, like if the initiative would work on it or not. Of course, if it would work, the price will grow higher and higher, and General Motors, of course, will again confirm itself as a very strong and robust company. But for the moment, what we can see is the fact that the upwards channel that we saw here, the top part of the channel, let's call it C1 line, was broken today. And although we tried to touch it yesterday, if you see on previous day or previous yesterday, these two trading sessions, we were just bouncing next to it, trying to maybe go down for next reconfirmation from also the T1 line, the trend 1 line. So actually we were trading between C1, T1 channel all these months. But this news actually allowed us to break through. And although the line was really unpenetratable, also like in 8ish of September, you can see it about 15 of September, also like yesterday and day before yesterday, but today we pierced it further. Well, what's the next? What's next future for it? If you look technically, okay, this is a good news in general, but this news means that first of all, up to two billions will be invested. So it's a risking with 2 billions. It's not given that it will be very profitable at the end, and also risking with other funds and resources and time spent, etc. So overall, what we might expect is actually a bit kind of trying to understand, reassess the statement, see more to financials, to more fundamentals. Therefore, you see this also being reflected in this very tiny, well, not that tiny, but this upward shadow that we see on this candle. And this shadow means that it's not a full shadowless candle, like, for example, we saw 4 days ago, which usually is very bullish indicator. Would this be the case today? Also giving the fact that moving averages 20 and 50 are going upwards with acceleration, this would mean that we are actually in the boost mode for the wave. But having said that, we can see, okay, we are still in the boost mode. The kind of boost mode can break any moment. So most probably tomorrow we will either open with elevation and then just correct downwards all the way to C1 line, or we can just within the height of the body immediately start correction and form kind of a doji. So in both cases, this would mean that the first volatility point would be C1 line actually here, and then even further piercing could be happening because we still need to reconfirm the channel breakage if any of the channels C1, T1. Therefore, this should happen. But of course, overall, this is about to happen most probably, because if you look at moving averages 20 and 50, by the way, here on the left, we see depiction of those moving averages, including moving average 200 being actually 20, 50 and 200 green, blue and red lines correspondingly. So here you see moving average 20 is going like this This means that it's not only going upwards, but also its first and second derivatives are positive. The same is true for moving average 50. So what is second derivative? It's actually speed, and this first derivative is a speed, and second derivative is in just acceleration, as we remember from school's physics courses. Having said that, of course, we now understand that the momentum, that the short-term momentum is going up with acceleration. Can it hold it? Will it go overbought? Because we're already kind of facing overbought area RSI-wise. Well, historically, we never really went very high overbought. If you look, we just either touched it previously on the previous heights, or we just were able to slightly pierce it. And it's also the case of today's action. Simultaneously with this shadow, as I mentioned, it might be just elevation and return to C1, or just immediate return to C1 with slight piercing. And this action actually will open for us a first entry opportunity here. So the first buy opportunity will be, if you look more careful, on these levels. So this will be like a first volatility line, and also kind of a flagging together with a T1 line. So let's call it S1. So here it would be like a small portion entry, not that big, on the vicinity of this area. Then, of course, should the price go further, again trying to kind of challenge T1 C1 channel, then here would be the second, the very strong one. The first strong support line is actually at these levels. And then it will coincide also with T1 actually trend. So this will be really very strong decisive action. And should there be a lot of concerns about this action of GM, because also we don't need to forget that in difference to Tesla, it's more or less new business for them. So there could be a general concern of the market if they can handle this competition. Therefore, could be a more serious correction. Should this take place, then this is the very, let's say, a last defense, very strong one. So it would be then, so if this is S2, then this will be S3 line. This would be the first major entry, the third major entry here for this stock. So we can say like the first small portion is the first circle, then another real portion like the second circle, and the third circle would be like for final entry. Then we should see another move up, either to reconfirm C1 line or even to form another channel. Should this take place, if especially this can take place if we will start from 1 or 2 upwards movement, then C1 line can really become a next support line. So then we will probably bounce and form further actions. But we will see how it goes later. If we will go all the way up to 3, most probably we will just see C1 line as a resist. So this return action will also define for midterm players if C1 line is going really to become a bottom of a next channel, or it will still remain a top of the current channel. And that would be very interesting. Should it become a bottom of a new channel, it would mean that General Motors is actually going to kind of a new stage of its recent price or chart history, which would be very remarkable. And then we might have forming a faster trend instead of T1, maybe another T2 trend will be formed. But it's still too early to speak about this. Should this trend to be forming, probably will be something like that, if those are already indications of the new trend. But still we need to wait for this confirmation, if any, and then we can speak if that new trend is formed. So we will definitely come back to General Motors later. For the moment, that's the price action, that is expected for it, and you can make your trade here. As you see, we always give advice a little bit in advance, 1, 2, up to 5 weeks even. So therefore, our previous videos are also up to date. Please watch them, even if they are 5 weeks before, because this just means that they are just becoming fresh, and the actions discussed here can happen just any moment. So you can place your expectations, your alerts on prices, and if you like the analysis, you can take the play. So also, having said that, do not forget to subscribe to our channel. This way you will not miss our new videos and new interesting discussions on US-based stocks.